Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are going to be discussing the recent shootings in Florida high school shooting. This happened on Valentine's Day, and it's currently the 16th that I'm doing this video. I don't know if it's going to be posted up on the 16th, but I'm going to try to get it posted on the 16th. I just needed a couple of days for a couple of reasons. Number one, I didn't want to ruin anybody's Valentine's Day. I know this is way bigger than any Valentine's Day, but still, I just didn't want to ruin anybody's day. So I waited a couple of days. Plus, this kind of messed me up personally because I'm speechless when it comes to these school shootings. And it's a situation in my personal life where I just feel like it just messes me up inside. Like it would anyone. It would mess anyone up seeing, hearing about a school shooting. So when I was younger, I wasn't necessarily a bad kid, but I would get whoopings. I would do, I would do things I wasn't supposed to do, and I would get whoopings. Yeah, like my stepmom, she would whoop me. And going to school, knowing that I was gonna get a whipping when I got home, school was my savior. Basically, school was a place to where I can be at and I would feel safe. I felt safer at school than I did at my own home. So I would do after school programs, anything to prevent me from going home and getting that whipping for whatever I did. And seeing nowadays where kids can't even be safe at school, if they're going through problems at home and they can't even be safe at school, it's hard. It's hard to take in because kids should be able to feel safe at home and at school, but the fact of it is we all go through things, whether you're a kid, whether you're an adult. Everybody's going through something, and to see that this happens at schools and that these shootings are continuously happening at high schools, elementary schools, like Sandy Hook, high schools, like Columbine. I think this all originated from Columbine, like the 1999 shooting. And if you're not familiar with Columbine and where it all began, I'm going to play a clip right now of a survivor from the Columbine 1999 shooting.
If anyone can imagine what the children at Sandy Hook Elementary School went through today, it is 30-year-old Sam Granillo.
Well, I see this very differently because I'm a survivor from the 1999 Columbine shootings.
Sam is making a documentary of his experience.
I was 17 years old and a junior in high school at Columbine. It was Tuesday. It was a pretty sunny day for the most part. No clouds in the sky, nice and blue.
That day, he was supposed to have lunch with 17-year-old Rachel Scott. Instead, he was studying in the cafeteria when a teacher ran in and told everyone to hide.
I get under their table. Everyone gets under their tables in the cafeteria. And then we hear some really loud booms and explosions.
When the same teacher returned, telling them to flee, he and more than a dozen other students hid in a small office and listened while the two shooters, Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold, systematically executed their classmates.
It's just rapid fire. Boom, 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 boom. Gunshots, pipe bombs, just explosions. It was friends killing friends. That is just that melts my insides like you wouldn't believe. It's crazy.
They struggled to keep the door closed from an intruder.
The door made it open about that far, and people were pushing on my legs, and I was pushing really hard with my feet. And
do you believe that was one of the gunmen trying to get in?
I'm pretty sure. I mean, I listened to some of the 911 tapes, and it sounds like it.
The ordeal went on for more than 45 minutes. But if the shooting was horrific, the aftermath was even worse.
And I step outside, and the first thing that I see is a body on the ground, 4 feet in front of me.
A student?
Yeah. And it just looked like they died before they hit the ground. I mean, it just a slumped collapse.
He saw a second body, a young woman, but didn't realize who it was until later. It was Rachel Scott, the classmate he was supposed to have lunch with.
Man, when I found out that it was Rachel, it's indescribable how it feels to be around something so horrific and see someone and then be told later that you know that person.
Sam still bears the scars. Images from today's shooting bring back the past. He says survivors need years of counseling, something he can't afford. So even after all these years, he still feels guilt.
Survivor's guilt is crazy. It's just the way it makes you play the what if game. I should have been hurt more. I should have died. This person, if this could have been different, if that could have been different.
He feels authorities have learned much from Columbine. Back in 1999, police hesitated to enter the school. This time they went in immediately and may have saved lives.
Caller's indicating she thinks there's someone shooting in the building.
And Sam thinks he has something to offer too.
We're here at Columbine High School right now.
He is hoping his documentary, Columbine, Wounded Minds, will help the latest survivors.
It's like you just go through all these things and you just can't escape that. But once you realize that there's nothing that you could have done to change the way it happened, that's a big step.
So looking back at Columbine and then seeing all the more recent shootings like Sandy Hook and this Florida shooting and a lot of other high school shootings. Like Sandy Hook was an elementary school. It had kids that were like 6 years old, 5 years old. I just can't believe it. This is our world. This is the world we live in, where things like this can go on. It just goes to show you're not safe anywhere. Put aside the school for a minute, and you're not safe anywhere. Like shootings can happen anywhere. There's people that live in bad neighborhoods where they're afraid to even step out of their home. Like, can you just imagine just stepping outside your home and getting shot by somebody? Could you just take a second and just imagine that you're like on a date or something and you're going to the movies and you get shot at the movies or something? Like you're no safe anywhere. You're not safe. My point is you're not safe anywhere. You gotta, like, that's what people say, you have to live every day like it's your last day. Like, if there's something that you want to do and you've been putting it off, do it. Don't, because you never know. Like, tomorrow is not promised to no one. It's not promised to no one. So whatever you want to do or you need to do, just do it before it's too late. And this is just messing me up. Can y'all tell how messed up I am right now? Like, I about this whole situation. So now I'm gonna roll these clips for you guys. I highly encourage you to all watch these clips all the way through, see it through, and I'll come back with the last of my commentary.
Right there in Washington, a busy day here in the nation's capital. Several major stories happening here, but we begin tonight in South Florida. There has been a shooting at a high school in Parkland, north of Miami, and there are reports of injuries and what the school superintendent calls numerous fatalities. Now, we have a number of unconfirmed numbers. We're not going to throw those out there right now, but multiple fatalities is what we're hearing from officials at this moment. The suspect is in custody, in fact, being transported now. You're looking live on the scene. Phil Keating is on the scene right now with the very latest. Good evening, Phil.
Good evening, Brett. The stay absolutely catastrophic, in the words of the Broward County Sheriff Scott Israel, who perhaps within 15 minutes is expected to come out here and update the media on this horrific day in Broward County, especially for the families of what have been confirmed by multiple people as multiple fatalities. We just don't know the full total number at this point. Off in the distance, you can see we are just about a quarter of a mile mile from the high school, Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School, a school of 4 grades, 3,000 students, described as your everyday American high school by students who I've spoken with. Well, you got the bomb squad down there. The FBI Mobile Command Center is down there. Hundreds of law enforcement vehicles are here, and no traffic can get closer to the high school at nearby hotels and elementary schools. That is where some of the evacuated students have been taken to rendezvous with their parents in a very panic-filled past 3 to 4 hours this afternoon. All of this happening around 4 or 2:30 Eastern time, right as the school day was just about to end. Helicopter aerials provided by our Miami Fox affiliate WSVN showing students running for their lives into safety with backpacks still on from the school out through the parking lots, reminiscent of what we saw back in the 90s at the Columbine High School massacre in Littleton, Colorado. The suspect was arrested within about an hour and 15 minutes by law enforcement just about a mile and a half away from the high school, and he has been named, according to the Associated Press, citing an unnamed federal official, as Nikolas Cruz, 18 years old, described as a former student of the high school, but not a current student. And some reports from students inside the school at the time of the shooting were that the alarm had been pulled for a regularly scheduled fire drill earlier that day, and around 2:30 p.m., that is when this suspected shooter pulled the alarm and then started shooting students as they fled the classrooms to run down the hallways. And so we do believe inside that school there are casualties that remain on the ground on what is going to be an enormous crime scene. Some of the most tear-felt moments came this afternoon when the Broward County School Superintendent Robert Rincey spoke about what he knew and what he saw at that moment. Take a listen.
Can't confirm the number at this point, but there are fatalities involved here.
Can you tell us at least how many transports? Do you know maybe a dozen?
I don't know the number that's been transported at this point, but again, there are numerous fatalities. It's a horrific situation.
Students and teachers inside the school at the time of the shooting had told law enforcement that the suspected shooter was wearing a black hat, burgundy shirt, black pants, and that is in fact the exact outfit that was being worn by the suspect handcuffed and taken into custody. That suspect, ID'd as Nikolas Cruz, 18 years old, was then taken to a nearby hospital for treatment. We don't know exactly what the extent of his injuries are, but according to students who were inside the schools, they have, of course, heard about school shootings throughout their young lives, but they said what happened here today was really unimaginable. Take a listen.
I was praying to God, thinking that He could save us all and that we could make it out alive. I called my parents and it was just all crazy, and all you could think about is, oh my God, my family, my friends, everything. You never think it would happen to you, but it does.
And as all of this was still unfolding and police officers and SWAT teams were going classroom to classroom, clearing them out, releasing the students to safety outside of the building, it was truly an unimaginable day as well for elected leaders. The governor, the president, both tweeting out comments and releasing statements expressing their grief and condolences to the families involved. Governor Rick Scott of Florida is on his way down here and should be arriving on the scene very soon here to be here in person tonight. And Senator Bill Nelson spoke with our Shepard Smith this afternoon live on the air, and one of 2 Florida senators, and he said basically he just seriously laments the fact that he is once again responding to yet another school shooting. Take a listen.
Our heart goes out to the families, the students, the school. They're grieving. I have already said my prayers to give them comfort, but this is a tough time.
Again, we are expecting Broward County Sheriff Scott Israel, who last was appearing on national TV last year at the Fort Lauderdale International Airport at that horrible crime scene where the man opened fire in the baggage carousel area. He was a very on-point and on-the-scene sheriff here in Broward County, Florida, so we are expecting him here hopefully within the half hour. Again, it is Valentine's Day, and some of the students first interviewed by local media this morning said, you know, we heard pop, pop, pop. We thought they were Valentine's Day balloons being popped by students because there were numerous Valentine's Day parties inside the high school today, and unfortunately, those turned out to be not the sounds of balloons, Brett.
I was in the freshman building, first floor, and he went up and down the hallway, just banging and shooting into the classrooms. He shot through my door and broke the window.
The dude pulled the fire drill. We went outside. Boom, 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 boom. We heard a gunshot. I thought it was firecrackers, but after I heard the last shot, I was like, oh, no, I'm out. I ran back to my classroom. Told my teacher, I think that's a shooting. I think we should go in the back and hide.
All the kids came inside the rooms and everything. There were teachers pulling us in and telling us to like get in the rooms and be quiet. And so yeah, we were just okay, I guess. So.
And how are you two related?
It's my mom.
Mom, how did you feel to hug yourself?
Oh my God, you don't understand. This is so, oh, what a joy. Oh, it's such a joy and everything. I just hope all the other kids are okay. And oh my God.
My best friend was actually locked in a closet for a while. And I was really nervous because she wasn't answering me at first. But I think she's okay now. She told me she got in touch with police officers.
Well, there was a fire drill, and what had happened was we heard shots, and not a lot of us knew what they were from. And I had seen someone go down, and I told one of my friends, and they didn't believe me. And then we heard more shots. When I saw them lying on the ground, it was after we had been escorted, and they were dead. They were covered up, and they were dead.
We have more now on some of the shootings that have taken place, both at schools and elsewhere in the past few years, as we have reported on, and Don Daler has more on this.
January 23rd, a young gunman opens fire inside a crowded school atrium in Kentucky, killing 2 students and wounding 14 others.
I saw there was a lot of blood everywhere, and then people were getting shoved down.
December 7th, at a high school in Aztec, New Mexico, another young gunman shoots and kills 2 of his classmates.
I feel bad for all the kids who got hurt and for the kids who were in the shooting.
November 14th, a gunman in Tehama County, California, fires 30 rounds into an elementary school as children hide beneath their desks. None of the school kids died, but after the gunman was killed by police, they discovered earlier he had murdered 5 people, including his wife.
We located her dead body concealed under the floor of the residence. We believe that's probably what started this whole event.
What starts these events is always the subject of detective work, community second-guessing, and familial agonizing. Perhaps the biggest question, why is this happening more frequently? This year, there have already been 18 school shootings. There were 7 by this time last year. Since 2013, the number of school shootings has steadily risen, with the sole exception being 2016, when there were only 48. Only, as if that was in any way acceptable or normal. As a sign of the times, more schools now prepare their students for gun violence. 2/3 of school districts report conducting active shooter drills, even though only 19 states require them. CBS News law enforcement analyst Paul Violas.
This is something that is so prevalent, it's actually rehearsed, it's part of curriculum across the United States. Making sure that we understand how to properly and expeditiously and safely contain this type of situation and minimize the injury.
Researchers say school shootings are happening at a rate of 1 a week. Some are accidental or suicide, where the only victim was the shooter. Jeff.
All right, Don Daler, thank you very much.
First off, I just want to say if you made it this far, thank you for watching those clips. I definitely appreciate you guys for watching my videos. And I don't know if you caught it, but just this year alone, there's already been over 18 school shootings. February's not even over, and it's already been 18 school shootings. But I wanted to show a clip of all the other school shootings. They didn't show the shooters, but I'm going to do it right here. This is the guy that is responsible for the Sandy Hook shootings. This is the guys that are responsible for the Columbine 1999 shootings that started it all. This is a guy that is responsible for the shootings, the theater in Aurora. And this is the guy that most recently did the shootings on Valentine's Day in Florida, at the Florida high school. So I just wanted to come on here and talk about these shootings that keep occurring. Just let you guys know my thoughts and opinions on it. Please let me know your thoughts and opinions on it as well down in the comment section. If you made it this far, please comment, share, and subscribe. Like the video if you liked it. And I will see you guys in my next video.